You send a message. 2 minutes. 30 minutes. 1 hour. 2 hours. Still no reply. Your mind starts racing. Are they ignoring you? Are they mad? Maybe they just lost their phone. Or maybe they just don't care. That's an assumption. We fill in the blanks with the worst possible scenarios, even when we have no proof. Now, consider this. You see a man at a restaurant order the spiciest chicken curry. Some might assume he's Asian. Maybe he's great at math. Maybe he even has a brother named Patel. Or take this. People once assumed the earth was flat. Now, personally, I find that absurd, but they found ways to justify it, somehow. By a show of hands, how many of you have ever made an assumption about someone? Okay? And how many of you were wrong? We make assumptions every single day about people, situations, and even about ourselves. But how often do we stop to question them? Today, I want to explore how assumptions shape our world, how they've led to both progress and prejudice, and how we can learn to challenge them. But first of all, what are they and why do we make them? It's simple. Assumptions are the brain's way of taking shortcuts. We are wired for efficiency. Our brains are constantly looking for patterns. Instead of investigating everything from scratch, we fill in the blanks using past experiences, media, and even biases passed down through generations. But assumptions are a double-edged sword. Sometimes they help us navigate the world quickly. Other times they cloud our judgment, leading us to misunderstandings, biases, and even conflicts. For example, have you ever met someone and immediately assumed what they'd be like based on their clothes, accent, or even the music they listen to? My mother and I travel a lot. Wherever we are, people see us differently. Foreigners, tourists, residents, everywhere we go, people see us differently. I was in Germany at the start of the immigrant crisis in Europe. My mother was pushing me in the wheelchair when a man walked up to us and said to my mother, "It's not their fault, those Arab children." At first she was confused. Then it hit her. He assumed I was an Arab immigrant. Turns out he also assumed my mother wasn't actually my mother, but my caretaker. He assumed our entire story just by looking at us. And for the record, I'm half German and half Bangladeshi. In retrospect though, this really puts to light what my mother has to deal with the explanations, the papers. Another huge factor is, well, my condition. There is no denying. Many people assume I am not able to talk. That's ironic. This man is a good example. He might have also assumed I'm not able to talk and talked to my mother instead. Wheelchair equals no talking. I understand though that there were several other reasons as to why he said what he said, but in the end, he still made an assumption. Now, this might have been a harmless mistake, but assumptions on a larger scale have had far more serious consequences. Think about history. Europeans assumed that anyone who was not white was inferior to them, leading to centuries of exploitation. Ironically, in thinking so, they also assumed that black people were more resilient and stronger in the hot sun and heavy weather. In the 1600s, women who acted differently or just had red hair were assumed to be witches and burned at the stake. For hundreds of years, people assumed the earth was the center of the universe until Copernicus and Galileo dared to prove them wrong. And look what happened to them. The Catholic Church literally kept Galileo under house arrest until death. The assumption was the heliocentric model, the idea that the sun was the center of the solar system would never spread. Now, these assumptions weren't just wrong, they shaped entire societies, laws, and human suffering. But assumptions don't just exist in history books. They affect our lives in ways we often don't notice. In the workplace, a woman speaks up confidently in a meeting. Some will assume she's too aggressive. A man does the same. He's a leader. In education, a teacher has a student who struggles with reading and assumes said student isn't smart. Later, we find out they're dyslexic and actually brilliant. In friendships, you assume your friend is ignoring you, when in reality, they're just struggling with something and need your support. Now, we know what assumptions are, why we made them, and when we made them. But now, how do we fix this? How do we retrain our brains to think differently? Let me introduce to you a simple method. ATRD. Assume, think, research, decide. Number 1. Assume. Recognize when you're making an assumption. Number 2. Think. Pause and consider. Could there be another perspective? Number 3. Research. Gather actual facts instead of relying on bias. Number 4. Decide. Make an informed decision based on truth, not assumption. It's simple, but it works. It means choosing curiosity over judgment. Before I leave you today, I want to give you a challenge. For the next 24 hours, try living without assumptions. Don't assume someone's feelings. Ask. Don't assume someone's background. Listen. Don't assume someone's abilities. Observe. What do you think you'll learn? We live in a world built on assumptions, but it doesn't have to be that way. The best minds in history, scientists, leaders, revolutionaries, challenged assumptions, and that's how progress happened. So, let's be a generation that questions instead of assumes, learns instead of judges, listens instead of labels. Thank you for not assuming the end of my speech.